Hello and welcome back. We are on lesson 300, which says, "Only an instant does the world endure." This is a reminder that the world you see is fleeting, a temporary projection of shifting thoughts and passing fears. But what is real is love, light, and God, and that is eternal and untouched by time. This lesson isn't about rejecting the world, but seeing through it, recognizing that everything beautiful here is simply a reflection of something everlasting. The ego whispers the world is all there is, time is running out, loss is inevitable, hold on tight. But nothing real can be threatened, as we spoke about in one of the first lessons. Nothing eternal can end. It's infinite. It goes on and on and on and on. And as Karina spoke about before, the temporary appearances may fade and we may have the illusion of loss, but it always comes back in a different form, in a different way. So when you stop clinging to what passes, you begin to rest in what remains forever. I love that. Oh my goodness, that made my heart twinge. When you stop clinging to what passes, you begin to rest in what remains forever. Time is the stage. Wow, I love that. And again, this just goes back to love, love is the thing that is constant. And it makes me think of Interstellar, right? When they traveled across different dimensions and like love could still be felt. Um, so even regardless of what appearances are showing you, there is still an undercurrent of love underneath it. And that love is eternal. And this is so bizarre. Um, Again, as a result of the stuff that we've been doing here, I had oh gosh, I don't want to go too deep into this, but I do want to emphasize why I believe this to be true. I broke up with a partner a long, long time ago now. It's been like years. I'm talking like eight years, and he's no longer here. He passed away. And for a long time, I couldn't get over that. And since I've been doing a year of miracles, I've understood that nothing is lost, right? The essence of love that we shared and the experience obviously was fleeting, but the love, the connection that I got to experience with him, um, is still there because that was the essence of who I really am. That experience allowed me to connect to the essence of who I really am, right? And as a result of understanding this, like I've had him like appear back in my dreams, but like as randomly, like as the sun, right? And so just all of these like weird analogies that have been coming up in my dreams from like past lovers as like really symbolic things just reminds me that like it is all so magic and divine, even though we can't see it at the time. Nice little rhyme there. But this again just made me recast my mind back to that experience where I really suffered. And actually, I didn't. Looking back now, I didn't need to because it was all meant to happen as it was, and the essence of who I am, who I thought was broken at the time was never broken. Actually, that breaking of me cracked open the true version of me, right? I believe that these things are sent on our path to awaken us to our true nature. And because of this course, I've been able to recognize that. And and the forgiveness and all of that. And it's allowed me to have this beautiful sort of reconciliation in my own mind, right? With that ex-partner and find peace and wholeness. Little bit of a tangent, but I just thought I wanted to share that because it was so beautiful. And again, I really think as a result of this course, and me and Karina were just saying, we've only got 65 lessons to go after this one. We're on 300. Like, that's wild. It's so wild. I'm so proud of us all and myself because I don't think I've ever committed to anything for this long. But yeah, what else? I think that's it for this lesson as I've gone on a bit of a tangent. Um, yeah. It says, "Only an instant does the world endure. I rest in the timelessness of love." I love that. Over to you, Karina.
Yeah. declaration, only an instant does this world endure. So it brings us back to that statement, that quote, that which that which changes isn't real, and that which only that which is unchanging is real, and that which changes is unreal. Let's look up that quote because um, that which changes is not that it matters what the actual quote is, but I've used it many times, and so I'm curious what there's different versions of that quote too in different traditions. Um, anyway, what changes is not real, what does not change. No, can't find it. Well, I'll share it later for you guys. But you know the statement. It's like that which changes is unreal and that which is real never changes, or something like that. And that's what this is. It's like that which changes, the waves of emotion, the waves of thought, the waves of this apparent reality. It's not real. All that changes is unreal. It only endures for an instant. It's an illusion, it's a mirage. So I like the concept of like of a mirage, or of like smoke or something like that, because it has no like tangibility to it, especially a mirage. A mirage is when, I mean, I don't know the science behind it, but it's kind of like, it has something to do with like when the eye plays a trick on you. When I think of a mirage, I think like of the desert and the like the waves of like the heat, how it kind of distorts a reality so it looks like you can see like a pool of water. It's like when your eyes play trick on you and you can see something and it looks so real and it looks so there, but literally it's nothing. It's not even smoke. Literally it's nothing. It's just like a virtual trick, a visual trick of the eyes. And so that's what this is. It's just a mirage visual trick of not the eyes, but of perception, a visual trick of meaning that we've given things, of a trick of perception. And and it comes and goes. It comes into our reality and fades in our reality. And some things seem to last longer and other things seem to go quicker, but in truth, it's all just an instant in the whole concept of time. It's all just a brief instant. And if you want to take it even deeper, in every instant, in every microsecond of a microsecond of a microsecond, you can't even measure it by time, where actually the world is arising, and the world is arising as a piece of creation and fading away. And that's why we experience the movement through time. But regardless of how you look at it, it's anything that arises and disappears like that isn't real. It's part of the mirage, it's part of the illusion. And what remains is, like Sammy said, is that which never changes, that which always endures eternally and infinitely. And it's your very true nature. It's your very true self. And you can even explore this, right? You can look in a mirror and notice that your body's changed. You can look at your beliefs and notice that they've changed. You can look at your personality and notice how your personality has shifted. You can look at your thoughts and notice how maybe your like pattern of thinking is different. You can look at your emotions and notice how your maybe the way that you react to things and the emotions that like seem to be your more main state of emotional, your main emotional state may have shifted or changed. But that self, that I am, hasn't changed. That very sense of self, that very sense of I am that you first remember experiencing at your very first early memory, maybe around 2, 3, 4, 5, depending on the individual. That is the exact same self here now, watching this. That remains unchanged. And you, like, I briefly mentioned a conversation Sammy and I had the other day about birth and whether or not it really happened. That's going a little bit deeper than I'd like to go here right now. But it is key because you can't remember when that self began, and you can't imagine that self ending. You can't imagine not being. It's impossible to imagine. You might think of a blackness, you might think like of a dissolving of thoughts or emotions or a body, but the self, your very beingness, you can't really find an end to that. You can't find a beginning and you can't find an end because it doesn't exist. Because it is, you are the infinite being, capital B E, being, and it never changed. All the stuff that changes only endures for an instant. It's all the quote unquote illusion. There is something that does endure. There is something that remains eternal. And you can see it for yourself. You can find it for yourself. So, the prayer. We seek your holy world today, for we, your loving children, have lost our way a while, but we have listened to your voice and learned exactly what to do to be restored to heaven and our true identity. We give thanks today. The world endures but for an instant. We would go beyond that tiny instant to eternity. So knowing our true nature is going beyond the waves of illusion, the mirage, and seeing truth behind it, seeing truth in between every instant of its appearance, seeing truth as the screen upon which it all arises on. And that's it for me. Sammy?
That's it from me as well. Again, just huge congratulations, everyone, and we will see you for the next lesson.